Good evening.
All right.
I'd like to call this month's meeting of the Board of Education to order. We are so thankful to see a packed house tonight. We're very glad that you're giving us your time, and we appreciate your interest in what's going on in the school system. Thank those of you who are watching at home as well. We appreciate your participation via television as well. Pardon me, tonight I'm fighting a cold, so I'll do the best I can. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Benji Forrest to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And of the heart, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we pray. Our Heavenly Father, we're so truly grateful and thankful for this another opportunity to come together to do the business of Pitt County Schools. Thank you, O Lord, for everyone that is watching here tonight in person, those that are watching by television, and others that are listening to us. We just ask and pray your blessings upon them as we do thy business. And Lord, most importantly, we pray for wisdom as we conduct those things that we hope are pleasing in thy sight. We'll be careful to give you the glory, the honor, the praise. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Are there any adjustments to the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Carolyn, second by Ruth. All those in favor? Those opposed? It passes unanimously. Next, I'd like to invite Jennifer Johnson up, who's going to share some great news with us.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman and distinguished board members. Tonight I want to talk today about some extreme and impressive talents. So we've got some talented individuals out here in the hallway. We have some of their parents and principals and coaches here as well. So the first team I'd like to call up is actually a band of orchestra. So we've got J.H. Rose High School String Orchestra. Miss Betsy Hughes is their instructor, and I'll invite Miss Jacobson to come down as well. And students, absolutely, come on in.
Which way should I go? This way? This
Yes.
way? This way. Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, good evening, school board members, Dr. Linker, and guests. We thank you for this opportunity to recognize our orchestra this evening. They were recently awarded a superior rating at the Guilford County Orchestra Festival. And joining us this evening is, like Ms. Johnson said, Ms. Betsy Hughes, who served since 2016 as our orchestra director. She also serves one of our feeder middles, Epps Middle School, and she has done great things in the couple of years that she's been at Rose. She's a proud graduate of Pitt County Schools herself. She actually started her career in Pitt County Schools at one of our elementaries and then went on to 2 other counties but came back to Pitt County. So we are very happy to have her, and I'll turn it over to her to share about this great recognition.
Thank you. Thank you for this honor this evening. We had a fantastic time on February the 18th. 21 schools from across the state went to Guilford County and competed at the Guilford County Orchestra Competition, and we were awarded a superior. And so we were able to hear some other orchestras from across the state, but it was really great to work with leading clinicians in our field, and they came on the stage and rehearsed our students after we performed. So this was the first time that Rose High had been to this competition, and it certainly will not be our last. So we hope to do it again next year and in the years to come. So thank you. It's great. Mm-hmm.
Like we got a house full of talent.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to call out your names. Javier Fan.
Javier.
Oh, I'm sorry, Javier.
Yeah.
Help me out. Sorry.
Okay.
There you go. Congratulations. Harry Albritton. Awesome. Malaya Brown. Malia?
Malia.
Okay, I got it. There you go. Congratulations. Cecilia Richardson. There you go. Zanaya Robertson. Congratulations. Cecilia Vera. Congratulations. Zachary Rogers. All right, great job. Very impressive. House full of talent. Thank you.
Tracy, you might want to ask for their parents. Like, ask them.
Yeah, just ask.
Any parents that want to join in?
You be a good one.
One, two, three.
Now I smile, just in case. I try to hide it. Somebody said it, so you can't see it.
Alright, so look at me, just for the paper, so 3, 2, 1 more, 3, 2, 1. Tell them you change
My neighbor, she's a part of that.
Congratulations. Ms. Jacobson, you can stay up here if you'd like. Because we also have a state champion swimmer. So I'm going to let Ms. Jacobson and Coach Pierce and Mr. Butler.
Well, I'm just going to say thank you again for this opportunity. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Butler.
Good evening. It's always a highlight, and sometimes people ask who we recognize in athletics, and we recognize state champions. It's always a thrill. Now, the swimmer, and I'm not, Coach Pierce, I'm not going to steal too much, because sometimes I say too much and they want to say things, but she also finished second. But we're not here for second, we're here when you win. So we're going to recognize a swimmer that won an individual state championship, but we're also going to recognize a wrestler who, from Aiden Griffin, who always knew was a great football player and kind of wrestled on the side, and suddenly he's now a state champion. So we're going to recognize him too. So we'll start with Coach Pierce.
Thank you for having us here. It's an outstanding honor to be able to coach such a great athlete as Madeline. She's extremely modest and downplays every accomplishment that she has ever had. She'll get out of the pool a full length after everyone's already still swimming, and we're like, oh yeah, I kind of tried. So she's an amazing athlete. I'm an extremely lucky coach. It was not even a surprise that she won states, and when she found out she won states, she was like, that's pretty cool. So she's also an extremely intelligent student, and I'm lucky to be able to count her as part of the swim team. Oh, she's a freshman. She'll be back she'll be back.
That's awesome. Yeah. Awesome.
Madeline, come on.
That's right. That's right.
So Coach Pierce took all the things I was going to say. I'm delighted to get to make this presentation. I've had the very good fortune of watching Madeline swim many, many races, and she's always fun to watch. She's a great competitor. But as Coach Pierce said, you know, what's most special about her and what makes us most proud as a Board of Education, I think, is that outside the pool, she's every bit as extraordinary as she is in the pool. She takes time to mentor younger swimmers who look up to her. She takes her academics very seriously, and she shows great teammanship and sportsmanship. And so, Madeline, on behalf of the Board of Education, we want to recognize you for creating excellence in the East. We are very, very proud of you. And we have a little medal for you. And we look forward to seeing you back, because as he said, she's just begun to make her mark. And so she'll be back here again. So I know Mom's here. Did I see Dad coming too? You don't get to hide. You got Even outside the room. No. Here, you, we swap places so you can be beside me.
All right, on three, 1, 2. And let me do one more.
Thank you. Good job, Madeline. Thank you. Well, y'all got her here.
Look right here. 3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1.
Congrats.
Congratulations. Coach Wooten, Ray, come on in. Now we're going to recognize another individual state champion who I believe, Coach Wooten, is this the second state champion in wrestling for Ayden Grifton High School? So he's the second one, what was it, 2012? 2014. Time flies. So anyway, Dr. Caden, you're going to speak about Ray. We'll give the floor to you.
Thank you very much for allowing us to be here tonight to honor Ray. Ray is a senior at Ayden Grifton High School, phenomenal young man, but outside of the mat, football field, great student. He's just a phenomenal gentleman. I'm going to let Coach Wooten talk to you a little bit more about him as well. Coach Wooten.
It's been an honor just to coach Ray. I don't know if I told him, but last year, you can see as coaches, we can tell certain kids have a certain thing about them. And I said at that time, this guy can be a state champion. And throughout the course of this year, it was still there. He just got better and better. He learned a lot. We learned a lot. He finished the season 30-1. He was conference champion, Pitt County champion, regional champion, and finished state champion.
Wow. Amen.
Congratulations. Thank you. I can just, by looking at you, if I was a wrestler, I would go out there, shake your hand, listen to what the referee had to say, then I'd lay down and say, go ahead. I wouldn't go through all that stuff. But we appreciate what you do, and the board is proud of you. And we are grateful that it sounds like you're a well-rounded student, and that's what's great. And congratulations. Thank you. And we're going to get a picture. And you got folks here.
All right.
One, two, three. And one more. 1, 2. Sorry.
One for the bacon.
3, 2, 1. One more. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
You doing all right?
You know I was going to
Appreciate you.
Thank you. That part of the meeting is always my favorite because it's just such a privilege to see all the great things going on in our system. Moving along, we don't have anybody here for public expression tonight, so we will move on to item 6 on our agenda, which is approval of the consent agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second. Moved by Worth and seconded by Caroline. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. On to new business. Item number 1 under new business, I will invite Ron up to discuss a joint resolution of Pitt County Government and Pitt County Schools to restructure the Pitt County Community Schools and Recreation Advisory Council.
While they're pulling up the PowerPoint, by the way, I'll be fast with the PowerPoint. When I told Dr. Linker we had a PowerPoint, he gave me that look, which all the staff knows that look, so I'll go through that quickly. Once again, congratulations to our state champions. We're spoiled here. You know, it's very few seasons that we don't have a state champion or a team champion, and it's not that way everywhere. So we're actually spoiled with the amount and some of the athletes that we have. We've also got some basketball teams still going. You know, I saw something Saturday night. I've never seen a gym that packed on a Saturday night before the girls' game. Some of us were lucky to get in, but congratulations. We've still got the Farmville boys and girls playing and the South Central boys tomorrow night. And we hope for success there, and anybody that wins there. We are hosting half of the regionals at East Carolina on Saturday. So we're hoping, that we never know until Wednesday morning, that we're hoping if our teams win, we will get to host them. But it depends on who they play. So that matchup will not be set till Wednesday morning, but we will host the regionals there Saturday at East Carolina. Okay, what I'm here to talk about, community schools and recreation, and ask for your help and kind of formalize our board with the advisory council. I'm here to introduce somebody that needs no introduction, Miss Alice King. And several times during this presentation, I will talk about collaboration. And I sit there and I watch her all day long work hard and form partnerships, and it's amazing to do. I also want to recognize, where's James? James Rhodes back there, the planning director, and thank you for your support and what you do there. Community schools, I did not realize how often it was used. I didn't realize the impact it had. It's been an honor to be there. I left there this morning at 8:32, and I only tell you that because I looked, I couldn't believe it. It was like 39 degrees, all the flags were stiff, the wind was blowing, and there was 24 cars back there. People were walking. I could not believe it because I was miserable just walking to my car, but they were out there. Community schools with the vision of several people, and especially Alice, 40 years old. We have a celebration. You've got that pamphlet. The Council for Community Schools and Recreation was first created by the North Carolina Community Schools legislation. It's evolved over the years, and that's why we're here to go with it and as it evolves even more. It is recognized playing a key role for recreational services, and that's 20 years ago they actually added the name recreation. It wasn't there at first because they saw the impact that recreation was added there. On the joint use of facilities, the key word here is maximizing. The whole plan there is to maximize resources, and that's what we do. And with Alice, she makes sure that we work hard to do that. We do have a lot of, I think, James, we've got a lot of partners. Departments of Public Health, Planning, Engineering, Soil and Water Conservation, Building and Grounds, obviously the schools, the county commissioners, boards of education, a lot of community partners. And most important is our volunteers. Without the volunteers, I don't think we could exist. Throughout the years, $3.5 million has gone directly to classrooms, cafeterias, playgrounds to address the issues of overweight and obesity. $1.6 million in grants and gifts for that park. I hope everyone here has been to the park and how nice that park is. And I promise you, if Alice has her way, it will get nicer and nicer as we go. You've all had a pamphlet, and there's some pamphlets up here celebrating 40 years. So please, anybody here that wants this, you can look through the pamphlet that we celebrate the 40 years. And it is quite a legacy, and I just have to thank the people that had the vision in the past to bring this about. What's important to keep it going and to improve, we need public input and guidance. It's essential for all of our operations, all our departments, that we have that, and that's why we're here in front of you. What we're going to ask and recommend is you approve this joint resolution to formalize the board. Now, to do this, we're going to look at where the county commissioners will appoint 6. The Board of Education will appoint 6, and there'll be 3-year terms with the option to renew. And so we want your input, your suggestions of who to be on this board, and we want to define the operations, and it'll come down to they'll overlook programs, partnerships, funding, facilities, planning, and just give us the priorities. That things, sometimes when you're one place, you don't see the things that somebody from the outside will see. But we want our council to be more formal and have a rotating basis. And part of this is, we will also, it talks about how there will be regulated and to follow our plan. And one thing we will do is we will report yearly to you and the county commissioners. So the resolution to restructure the council and also to strengthen the relationship between the council, the Board of Education, and the county commissioners. I told you you'd see and hear the word collaborative, which is very important to Alice. It's worked very well, and we want to continue that. So our recommendation for you is we'd like for you to adopt the joint resolution between Pitt County Government and Pitt County Schools to restructure the Pitt County Community Schools and Recreation Advisory Council.
Any questions?
I would say that I met with Mr. Elliott probably 6 or 8 months ago to talk about the process. And we both think this is a great idea. I know the county commissioners have already passed at their last county commission meeting, it being in February.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is brand new?
Well, we have a
This is
council.
brand new, so I'm like, the people that's already on your council,
They could possibly stay.
stay, okay.
When it comes time to appoint the council, 6 will come from the county commissioner, 6 will come from here. I'll be willing to provide you with people who are interested. Obviously, if you have people that are interested, but you would have to approve anybody that we put up there.
How many on there now?
18.
Well, we have 18, and it's not as formal as I think Dr. Linker and Scott Elliott would like to see.
So if I understand correctly, the council is in place, but what we're trying to do is make it more efficient and more structured.
Yes, ma'am.
And in order to better maximize.
And make sure everybody, and this body has more input on who is on that council.
So is it a volunteer type of council now, or who nominates the 18? Or do you volunteer and get approved by the others? How does that work now?
That's currently the way it is.
Okay.
People have shown interest and expressed an interest in serving, and then we try to get representation from across the spectrum of all of our programs and also different parts of our county.
Thank you. Thank you. So that
No, we need to do it.
we need to approve it now. Okay. So is there pardon me, a motion to approve the joint resolution or to adopt the joint resolution?
I do. I move to approve the council for Pitt County Schools involvement with the community schools and recreation.
Mary has moved. Can you approve? Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Melinda. Okay. It's just, I'll open it up for
We have more
discussion.
discussion. That's the only copy we have of that. Could you please roll through it? I just want to make sure we're.
Okay, well, you have it there.
No.
No, we don't.
It's not on
I
our
thought they had a
computer
paper
now.
copy.
It's not, no attachments for this presentation.
And I was going to
Right.
say, I need to see
We
what
need to
I'm going
read
to
it.
vote.
Okay.
Is it imperative that we vote on it tonight?
No.
You can read it? Okay. No, it didn't get attached.
Can you see it up here, Carol?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I can see
comfortable with
that
it?
here.
Okay, we'll just allow everybody
not a
a moment
fast
to read
reader.
through it.
It was on my phone.
Actually, I'd like to have more time than I'm getting right now to approve this. I'm sorry.
Okay, I thought you had the attachment. I thought-
Right, if I'd had,
Okay.
that's a lot to process
Okay.
in just
No.
raw. I'm sorry.
No problem.
So we have a motion, so we can.
Second. Yeah, that's true.
In a second, so we'll vote. So, all those in favor, so we'll vote on the original motion, which was to adopt the resolution. Okay. All those in favor? Those opposed? Get that, Carol? Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ron. Next, under new business, I'll invite Bethany Wood up to talk to us, give us a CTE update.
Good afternoon. I'm really excited to share with you guys two initiatives that CTE has been working on. The first one is a pre-apprenticeship program that we have been working on in CTE called Tradesformers. And if you kind of look at the image and look at the name, you see that it's about the trades. About a year ago, I was approached by a member of Pitt Electric, and when they approached me, they said, "How do we get in the school system?" I said, "You have talked to the right person." So the owner contacted our office. We brought two other businesses to the table. So we have three businesses, Pitt Electric, Advanced Mechanical, and Piedmont Service Group. We've come to the table and we've created a pre-apprenticeship program. What a pre-apprenticeship program is, it allows students to work with these businesses, get hands-on experiences after they finish their year of experience. If they choose to go to the community college, their tuition is paid for by the state, which is really phenomenal. We've worked really hard, and I wanted to share a video, and then I'll elaborate from then.
Every year in the U.S., 7,000 people become electricians, but every year in the U.S., 10,000 licensed electricians retire. So you don't have to be a math guru to realize we're losing them, and we need more, and we need them sooner than later.
There has been a shortage of great technical staff coming through the school systems and through the community college and trade schools, and Tradesformer is a consortium that we put together with three companies with similar trades here in the Eastern North Carolina area.
With this program, you have a 2-year investment in your time, you have a minimum amount of investment with your money. It's going to give you a skill set that's going to last the rest of your life.
You can make pretty good money, probably better pay than most people understand, because there's so much opportunity, whether it's to be a helper or to become an electrician, to be a superintendent.
You're going to have a skill set that's going into a job market that's expected to grow in the next 20 years. You're going to have a skill set that can't be outsourced to any other country. So the job security is there for a foundation to really build a successful career.
You know, the training, it's generally local, so you don't have to go very far. You don't have to bring a lot, other than a willingness to learn and some humility, because you'll be starting out and you'll want to learn from people who've been doing it for a while.
With a career like this, every day is different. There's nothing typical about it.
I've always said that if you have a trade, you have an estate. When you've got something that's portable, you can move anywhere in the world and use this trade and earn a living and take care of yourself and a family and build a life.
You pay your money to go to a 4-year school, and then there's no jobs there. You just wasted it, you took a bad investment.
There's so many high school kids who, when you talk to them at about the junior year, they feel this need to go ahead and commit to something, but they are not sure.
Whereas if there was a program like this, when I was coming up, it would have saved me a lot of money and a lot of time.
If you're interested in this program, see your career development counselor at your high school, and they will get you an application to go through this process with us, and we look forward to meeting you.
So the people you saw in the video are the higher-ups in the company. We are working with the owners of these companies, and what we're doing is we are reaching out to our students. January 31st was our first interest session when we began going to all the schools, and we asked our teachers and our career development coordinators, what students do you think might be interested in this? This starts their junior year. So we're recruiting juniors right now. So then what we did is we did an interest session. We gave them an application. We received 31 applications. So the next step, and it's been proven that when you vet students through a process, you get better results. So the next step was an information session with the parents. So out of the 31 applications, we personally invited all 31 of them to an interest session with their parents. This past Thursday night, February the 28th, we had approximately 20 students and their parents show up at South Central High School that are interested. So we had our businesses doing a presentation, answering any questions that the parents may have, and they had plenty. You know, when do they start? What is the process? So the next step that we have is in April, we will have a two-night orientation session. What that entails is the students will come, they'll be doing hands-on teamwork, getting to know the business owners and the business, the higher-ups in the company. For 2 nights, they'll work with those students. Then they'll do an interview process. We really want to see what students are interested because it's an investment that the companies are willing to make. The companies are invested in the students, and they want to make sure that the students are really engaged. And then at the probably in May, we will hire a lot of students. We're hoping that the businesses will take 8 students total. So it's a process. We're super excited, but these companies are ready to invest in our students. And they were amazed at how many students were actually interested. You know, you come to a parent meeting and you think, oh, how many parents will show up, how many students will show up? And we were pleasantly surprised that 20 students and their parents showed up to listen to these businesses. Does anybody have any questions about Tradesformers?
That was 31 that were interested out of the 6 high schools, and then 20 came to the interest session?
Well, actually, it was 7. There were 31 applications, and 20 brought their parents to the next step.
And 7?
7 schools, because we included the early college as well.
Okay, cool.
Well, there are not any juniors at the
Right, at
ECU,
ECU,
so
that's
we
7.
we included our 6 traditional and the PCC early college. And you have a flyer that we did as well in your packet. That'll give you a little bit more information about Tradesformers.
They start working this summer?
They will start working this summer. They will work full-time this summer. The nice thing is so we're working with heat and air and electric. And of course, the owners are like, if you play sports, it's fine because we know you like the heat. So it's okay, you know, we will work around your athletic schedule. It's okay if you play a sport. We are willing to work with any student that is interested in HVAC and electrical.
And what is Piedmont Service Group, Service Logic Company? What is that a partner as well?
That is a HVAC. So we have that's HVAC. So Piedmont is a commercial HVAC company. Advanced Mechanical is a residential, and of course, Pitt Electric is all the orange vans that that's electrical company. So, yes, ma'am.
Do you have plans for, like, can other employers, like, join this Tradesformers group if they're interested in also doing the same thing with our students?
Absolutely. So we started with the businesses who really were ready to get started. You know, some businesses are a little timid to begin with, but we have created a consortium, and we've talked about others coming on board, and those 3 businesses, as well as myself and Simone Pate, who is heading up this, we have had that conversation, and we are looking for plumbers, and we are looking for other, I know that we have spoken to Jack A. Ferrier, I think one of the companies have, about different businesses coming on board, because we're going to have students that are ready to go to work, and we want to place them in positions that they can be successful. So absolutely.
And I think the second thing I wanted to ask was, I thought you mentioned something about tuition at community college.
It is.
What is that through this program?
It is. So the state has a pre-apprenticeship program, and what happens is if you're a registered pre-apprenticeship, if you're a registered pre-apprentice, so you go through the process and you complete so many hours, and I think it's 800 hours. That's I think. And so after you graduate, then you enroll. You are still in an apprenticeship program, because when you're not once you get out of high school, you're in a apprenticeship, not pre-apprenticeship, with the company as well. And then you enroll into the community college and it's tuition reimbursement through the state.
Through the state.
Madam Chairman, I have a question.
Worth had his hand up and then.
Okay.
and then-
I think when young people find out that, they don't necessarily have to get a 4-year degree to be able to get a nice job. I know a young man is 19 years old working with heating and air, working with a company. He's making $58,000 at 19. At 19, I was making $50. But I mean, that just shows you the opportunities that they have, and it also gives our young people a sense of being motivated in regards to their needs. Everyone is not college bound. I mean, and I know a lot of kids who've gone through college and have majored, and they majored in, they didn't think about what they were majoring in. There's no jobs out there, So I just think this is good to help our guide those students.
Well, I will tell you that it was important for us to have a parent session, and our takeaways from the parent session, and it really hit home with one of our businesses. A mom came up to one of them and said, "You have changed my mind. He is my third son. I was adamant he was going to a 4-year. And listening to you guys, and he was adamant that he wanted to do the trades. He was adamant. And the student wanted to do one thing, and the parent was adamant to do another thing. And she said, "You have changed my mind because that's what's going to make him happy."
And that's what counts.
And that's what counts.
And I'm not knocking college.
Absolutely
But
not.
there's just some students that are better suited with this route.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad you presented tonight, because we are not only pushing, for a 4-year education, but it's imperative that we know that kids have opportunities to become whatever they want to become. And this is a gateway to that. I also wanted to ask you the difference between, you said apprenticeship and then they get credentialed. How does that part play
The
into
credential,
this program?
the credential works once they finish the pre-apprenticeship program, then they become a journeyman, and that's their credential. And then when they move to the community college, they're an apprentice, and then they have certain requirements that they have to do on the community college level that takes them to the next step. I will tell you that one of our businesses does their own customized training through NCCER, which is our national construction credential that our students do in carpentry right now, and they go through that process. So some of our businesses choose to go and send their students to the community college. Some do their own customized instruction where they train them at night.
And my other thing would be, and it goes right back to parents and students and open house. Is all of this information available now? I know we have it online, but sometimes it's critical to put it in their hands. So at our open houses and, our parent meetings and things of that nature, are the parents getting this information?
Yes, ma'am.
And the students?
So in the application process, it was spelled out on the application process that the students and the parents had to sign initially. It was also, we actually invited those students who turned in the application back to us. And we are very fortunate that our career development coordinators in the schools have that personal relationship. And they would say, "You're coming tonight, right? Don't forget, do I need to call your parents?" And they have that dialogue and they have that relationship with our students. So yes, ma'am, our parents are very aware. We had one parent that came and the student did not because he had another obligation, but she wanted to make sure she was there for that because it was important.
Benji?
Did this come from a direct relationship with the local businesses? Or did this come with a combination of the relationship with them and also that Career Technical Education Advisory Committee that you were going to be putting together?
I actually, this was, honestly, Mr. Forrest, I had some work done on my heating and air unit, and the gentleman said, you know what, my boss today asked me, how can I get in the schools? I said, well, today's your lucky day, because I'm the person to get into the schools to get employees. And so, none of those members that are on this are on our advisory board.
Well, I'd like to follow up if I could. This is a good thing, and I appreciate it very much. Appreciate local business doing it. But what I would really love to see is for us to be able to actively tangibly use those committees, not just let them be committees just because the state said we gotta put them together. And my guess would be that that committee would really recognize that for its value of great potential worth. And you could really expand the program. And then with that, continue to, and I heard you say you work with your CDCs, but we need to make sure that our career technical education teachers as a whole understand and know what's going on with these other programs too, so that's more seamless. It isn't coming from this little group, that little group, because the potential to put it all together, I think, could really add value to our career technical education program as a whole.
Well, actually, last week we had our meeting, and we did present this. Simone Pate did present this to the board, to the advisory board. And out of the advisory board, Mr. Phillips gave us connections to the Bio Network Center, the PSN, which we're touring this week, as well as we toured the school that we were in. And when we went into an automotive shop, Hyster-Yale said, oh, I can donate a forklift for you guys to work on. So we are making those connections with our advisory board, and they are excited about this initiative as well as the Grow Local initiative that I'm going to talk about in just a few minutes. And we are making headway. We do speak to the teachers as well. The teachers were well aware of this, because the teachers are the ones that are recruiting and talking to the kids and training the kids for these type of things. So we are working all together as a whole.
How often, if I may, how often have you pulled that countywide advisory committee together?
We had our third meeting since last year this time, last week. It was supposed to be our fourth, but the hurricane got in the way. We had one scheduled during the hurricane, so it would have been, we try to have 3 per year.
Okay.
So I love seeing the business owners, but I suspect that once you have some students who go through, have good paying jobs, maybe we could do some marketing using video testimonials from the students, because they're going to sell it to other students and to their teachers, and frankly to the other businesses as well.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely.
I don't know if there's any opportunity for marketing.
That's our next step, as far as, that's why we did the initial video with the business owners, and then our next will be the students who are engaged in this partnership.
Great.
Okay. The next thing that Dr. Linker wanted me to share was Grow Local. We, March 18th through the 22nd, we will be having a week-long visitation for the students going to our businesses. We still are at our same amount of 2,734 students that are visiting our businesses, but we are up to 100-plus businesses that we are touring during that week. We are really excited about it. All of the businesses are doing agendas. They have packed sessions for the students to enjoy and to see what their business is all about.
Wonderful.
Any questions about Grow Local?
Chair, Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday, March 6th at 8:30 at the Community School Building. Ron left, and we will be hosting a volunteer. So if you'd like to volunteer and go to a business to see the students and to kind of be a presence, you're more than welcome to join. It's on Wednesday at 8:30. We're doing Parents for Public Schools is partnering with us so that we can have extra volunteers at the businesses when the students arrive.
Any other questions? Thank you. This is very exciting, and it's what our goal is to it's the end point of trying to educate these kids, is to get them placed into roles where they can contribute back to hopefully our community, but any community. So I appreciate your efforts.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Moving along, I will invite Matt Johnson for an operations update.
Thank you. Just for Mr. Forbes, we're going to have a 45-minute PowerPoint. I know you love my long-winded PowerPoint. All of this information was going to be shared at the last work session, but we kind of got cut short with the legislative luncheon and all. So the first thing I want to talk about is the SROs in the county. As of February 18th, all of our agencies had hired the SROs that we had requested additionally from the grant that we received this past year. So we have right now 26 SROs that are assigned to Pitt County. They are used throughout the district. Every school will have coverage of some kind, one day or another, depending on what it is. Again, the schedules aren't put out there when these people will actually be on site, if they're a 50-50 split with a campus, so you never know when the officer will or will not be on campus. The assignment was put out with the work session agenda. This is for your eyes, so you kind of know our officer that is on campus or that is assigned to that campus. Our last officer, right now, we are working with the agency to get the final schedule on when we have boots on the ground for our last officer, which will make the 26th officer. He has been working on some training and some other things with the agency before he actually gets out there. He has been to the two sites that he will be out at, so he has been out there and met the staff and the admin for those. But we are expecting that in the next couple days, maybe this week, maybe next week. So we're supposed to get a schedule from them this week on when this last individual will be on site. Are there any questions for the SROs?
I was reading while you were talking, Amit. Did you say the ones that are going to schools that it is a 50-50?
Yes.
So, okay, but not an established schedule.
Not an established schedule, not a published schedule, and it's really not even published to that school site. So it's kind of in the background on where their schedule is. That way, nobody knows exactly when they're going to be there or not.
Okay, and just sort of stationed there for routine business, and then as needed.
Correct.
They go.
Correct. Now, if there's an event at a school, that school needs that particular officer that day, that can be requested, and everything can be changed depending on that school site's needs. So there's a lot of flexibility there, and with not having that published schedule really helps us out in getting coverage that we need. Any more questions on SROs?
I got one. Now, you said were all schools covered?
Yes, sir.
That's all.
Yes, sir. With the additional 12, we were able to get boots on the ground at all
That's
schools.
good.
Yes, ma'am.
But one is still finishing up training currently.
Yes, that is correct. We should get the schedule tomorrow from the agency on actual date, boots on the ground from then forward. Okay. Any more questions on that? No. The other thing that was in your board packet for the work session was a executive summary for the security assessment that we had done by Ron Allen's firm. He worked with Mark III for a long time. He's a risk manager. He came in several years ago and did security and safety assessment throughout all of our schools. He then helped us create the crisis manual and the recovery manual. After all of the events that happened over the last couple of years regarding school safety and security, we asked him to come back and go through each one of our campuses and focus only on the security aspect of each campus. And we also asked him to provide a summary of that, which I provided to you guys for your eyes to see what he found. He did break it down for us school by school, so we know what we've got at each school based on his observations. We are taking this information to our agencies, to our security division, and the admins of that site to work on anything that we think is needed to up the security on these campuses. He did note all of the things that the board has approved for us to go do at all these campuses. He likes those. He likes us, the secure corridors, the visitor management, the access control, on and on. He really thinks that's a good positive step for us, and he was glad to see that we are working on those things. But if you do have any questions as you do read through this, feel free to call Dr. Linker, call myself. If we don't have the answer, we can get hold of John Jenkins, our 30-year officer who's our staff member now, and we can talk through any of these items that you see and might want to discuss. But again, this is kind of something for the board and then for us to do. We don't necessarily want to air dirty laundry everywhere. Not that we have a lot of things out there. We are going in the right direction and we have things. So just saying that, Are there any questions on the security system? Okay, the last thing I have, we did receive earlier this school year a $116,000 grant for school security equipment. Now, we have gone through that and put the bids out, and what this is going to do is provide us access control on elementary and K-8 schools, mainly for our doors that lead out and back in from our playgrounds and modular units. What we found in the past is the schools are passing off keys. Sometimes there ends up being a rock in the door, that kind of thing. So what this will do will allow us to keep that door locked at all the time without having to pass off keys. Our actual school badge will be the access card reader, just like it will be at all of our front corridor entrances as they come along. The bids are back in. The contractors are scheduled to start this month pulling wire, and we plan on being completed on all 22 doors that we're doing throughout the county by the end of May. So that's what's going on with that grant. We will be doing a update to the state in April on where we are with the funds for this grant, and we plan on having it finished by May. Are there any questions on that? Any other questions on security updates? Thank you.
Moving along, I will turn it over to Dr. Linker for closing comments.
Quickly state the Grow Local program truly shows the value that our community has for our school system. She didn't share some statistics with us, but this is take your kid to work month, I guess, across the state, but that's actually the work week. Let your kid go to the business world that week. In Pitt County, of all the kids who are signed up around the state, we have 8% of all the kids, which is huge because we're not anywhere near that much from the state, 1%. But the bigger part is there's 280 companies that are signed up to host students. We have 100 of them in Pitt County. So that just shows you the relationship we have with our business community and how they value this. And the fact that our CTE department has really grown in the last several years in giving these opportunities for our students. And we've seen that through the trades former program. We've been talking about the apprenticeship program really since I got here. We're seeing some good results, coming through that. The state's helping, but we're seeing these opportunities. Ms. Lanning talked about opportunities, and that's what it's about. You mentioned the word opportunities, Ms. Williams. That's what it's about for our kids. Opportunities that weren't there 5 years ago. So I'm just real excited to be part of this and seeing this develop over the last several years. Thank you.
Mr. Forrest.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. First of all, it's glad to see Mary back. Mary, it's always good when you're here and being able to contribute so vitally to our board, and thank you so very much. We continue to keep you in our prayers. Also, I don't know how much the public knows this, but the Board of Education, first of all, let me just say, I'm so glad that nobody's putting a time limit on me tonight.
I meant to mention that.
Well, they need to.
I got you, Mr. Forrest.
There you go.
You wasted time.
But I don't know how much the public knows this or not, but we as a Board of Education constantly get emails about those that are sick, those emergencies that are going on into the schools, and I just want to give tremendous applause to our school officials who are so Johnny on the spot and taking care of those situations and making sure that our student body is secure and safe and well taken care of. And then another thing I'd like to just share is how excited I am, Dr. Linker, about how fast we put in place. A lot of times, public bureaucracy is a slow crawling process, but we have done a tremendous job this year. Matt, I want to thank you and your group for putting those SROs in place, for being able to figure out resources in order to do that, and to continue to let the public know that, you know, that our main goal and the goal that we want to try to reach is an SRO in every school, if at all possible. And so that's the way that we're going. I was excited about that $116,000 grant that you mentioned as well. And then I guess last, as far as I'm concerned, is, and this has sort of been touched on this evening, but 5 years ago, I don't know if the paradigm of administration in Pitt County schools was all that focused on career technical education and applied learning. And Dr. Linker, from the top, I want to thank you for sending down to your staff the importance of career technical education. Okay, yeah. I knew I could squeeze some time out. The focus that you have given to career technical education, the importance of it, and that it's a different education, but it's just as vital and unique as any other education that any of those kids will serve here in Pitt County. So with that, I'll pass the baton.
I just want to tag on to what Benji had to say, especially about the trades formers and the Grow Local program and the CTEs. I can certainly attest to there are many people in my family that have gone out straight to a skilled trade and not spent 7 years in college like I did and lots of money to get 3 degrees. So, and they make a lot more money than me, and they were able to go out immediately into the workforce. So there's a lot of value to that. On a little sadder note, I did want to take a moment to acknowledge a student death, Dacian Sanders. He was a sophomore at J.H. Rose. He was 15 years old. He passed away in February, and Caroline and myself, as well as the administration from J.H. Rose, were able to attend his service this past Saturday. I do want to say it was a very beautiful service. It was very spiritual and lifting, and I was very impressed by the community rallying around and supporting this family. So I just wanted to ask that everybody continue to keep this family in your thoughts and continue to rally around them at this time of need.
Congratulations to our J.H. Rose School Strings and Orchestra, and to our state champions swimming and wrestling. I think that says a lot for Pitt County, that we're on top with that. And every year we always seem to have a lot of recognition at the state level for the size of our county and the facilities, and we're just proud. I'm proud of them. And you know, again, mentioning the SROs, that's one of the reasons why I asked you, was there's one coverage at all of the schools, because thinking back when the county commissioners, the school board met over at the Ag Center, and that's what we heard big time, SROs in the schools, as well as from surveys. And I noticed, you know, we would always look at that list and where parents' concerns were, and that's something that we have listened to them and have met to the best of our ability at this point. And the grant, again, by having individuals go in with a badge, and you know, that's how a lot of the employees at Vita, they get in a lot of these industries. Everybody has a badge, and plus you have a way to trace back to who's doing what. So I think that's really good that we're doing. That's all I have.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that we all look for ways to support our youngest victims of traumatic events, like Dacian Sanders and his family. Gun violence contributes to toxic stress among Dacian's friends, and anyone who lives in the community, including the kindergartner that was in that home when the murders occurred. And there is something we can do. We can learn about ACEs. I put something on everybody's on your desk. Our community is coming together to learn and grow and plan to try and address ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, on March 14 and 15 through Eastern AHEC. And I believe after that there will be some further training to help the adults that are connected to families become buffers and help those children develop resilience and help their brains recover from those traumatic events, because this can be life-altering, and it contributes to that toxic stress. So I would encourage everybody to educate yourself about what Pitt County is doing. Lots of different angles and sectors of Pitt County coming together to wrap our arms around all children who are facing very traumatic events that really can have an impact on them. There's hope. It can be changed. We can help them and we can protect them. So I hope you'll educate yourself about that.
I just want to say congratulations again to the J.H. Rose High School Orchestra and Madeline and Ray. I think it's Ray. Is it Ray? Yes, Ray. For all their successes. It's very, very good accomplishment. And also, as far as the Grow Local and the apprenticeship is concerned, I think that's wonderful. You know, coming from the community college side of it, I think it's great that we're showing the value in some of these careers versus trying to push every student to a four-year school, because not everybody's meant to do that. So I think it's really great that we're showing them they have other options. That's about it.
Just piggybacking on to the congratulations to the two students that were here this evening to be recognized for their state champions, as well as the orchestra. Betsy Hughes does a phenomenal job with students, and it's not only just students that are in orchestra. I know she has taken students from the band that play instruments in the orchestra when they go to Allstate, and she's just a phenomenal. We're lucky to have her in the county as an instructor. I would like to say thank you to the Parents for Public Schools for hosting the school tours recently in the last month. I have seen a lot of schools, and it's been very eye-opening. I've enjoyed every single one that I've gone to, and if I haven't been to your school, I will eventually get there, hopefully in the next month. It was impossible to do some of them back-to-back, but it was really a great opportunity to get in and see what all the different schools are doing. And tagging on to that, congratulations to Creekside. Last weekend I went to the Battle of the Books and they won for the elementary, so they'll be going on to state. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. Maybe they'll come in here for state champions with the Battle of the Book. But that was just really exciting and something that I cherish. I think reading is so important, and it's just a great way for students that maybe aren't athletic, that they can be on an academic team. And I really appreciate all those that are involved with that. And last but not least, I would say thank you to Beth Ann for all your hard work, because I absolutely love CTE programs. My father, as I've said before, he was a welder. He paid for me to go to college. He paid for my brother to go to college. And I don't think I realized till I was an adult how much money he made as a welder. And now that I'm putting somebody through college and it's years later, it's proportionately though, and it's just it's a gift. It was a gift, and I didn't really recognize it until I got older. And so I'm 100% behind this, and I thank you for introducing this to students, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know.
Ms. Williams.
Okay, let me start. I'd like to thank all the parents and the students that came tonight for the strings at Rose High School. I can't take these off. I'd like to thank Ms. Trueblood for the CTE presentation, because I went to college too, but I also earned my living by doing working for the Procter & Gamble company, which was very high skilled in training. So you never know how your blessing's gonna come through the things that or things that you can learn on hand. But I want to announce that we have a male summit that's gonna take place at Pitt Community College, and it's for all boys at all 6 high schools and our early college. That's gonna be on March the 25th from 9 to 2. The applications for the ISPAL program that's sponsored by Farm Bureau in June is for 11th graders that will be going to 12th grade. The deadline for all applications to be in is March the 28th. And it gives our students at the 11th grade an opportunity to spend a week at either North Carolina A&T in Greensboro or NC State in Raleigh to learn about all the other jobs that are done through like